Hello, TH here. So I'm going to do a really quick overview of what it takes to start doing your own car maintenance. I always encourage people to learn how to do this because you can save a massive amount of money and you have the option of getting yourself a car that you might not otherwise be able to afford. So I'm going to go over a whole bunch of stuff that you need to get going and things that you need to learn to get going. So before I start everything off, the most important thing that you need to know about working on a car is safety. Things in a car are hot, acidic, sharp, and they just generally want to hurt you. Ouch! Ouch! And you are going to be under them and you're going to have your arm, you're going to be elbow deep in your car, and you want to make sure that you have the proper protection. So gloves, long sleeves, eye protection if you're crawling under the car. The second most important part about safety is that you're almost guaranteed at some point going to be jacking up your car. You need to learn how to do this. I'm not going to show you how to do this because I'm not going to be liable for you dropping a car on your face. So you have to learn how to jack up a car properly, find someone that knows what they're doing, get them to teach you how to do it. There's a very specific way for every car to jack it up. You need jack stands, and I suggest a low profile jack. Spend the money and get a good jack. It just makes everything easier. It goes up quicker. Now what I'm standing in front of here is basically a simple set of tools that will get you going doing your own car maintenance. So things that I recommend that I can't live without are a proper socket set with extensions, because you're going to need these no matter what you do. You can just buy these extra. These allow you to go way deep into the car and ratchet things that you're not going to be able to reach otherwise. Now, I got this socket set here. Don't do something ridiculous like buy this stuff full price because it goes on sale all the time. This set here at regular price is $230. I got it for $60. Okay, so pay attention to the sales at your auto parts store. Now, I got a full set of wrenches here. I've got two. I got one of each size because chances are you're going to have a bolt that's in a small area and you're going to want to be able to counter hold it. You're not going to be able to get a socket in there. So you put one in here and you put one in there, and it makes it a lot easier. I got these things here. These are a gear wrench. These are worth their weight in gold. They ratchet. This makes everything so much easier. You can ratchet a small bolt in a small area. A hammer, Clarkson would approve. If you're working on a European car, you're going to have to get, there's a regular socket set, doesn't often come with this, a set of Torx bolts like that, and a breaker bar, almost for sure. Because unless you have an impact gun, which is kind of a luxury, a breaker bar is going to make everything a lot easier. Undoing wheel bolts, undoing stuck nuts and lugs underneath the car. This is a ratcheting breaker bar, which makes everything a lot easier. Next thing you're going to need is a torque wrench. Any single time you take something off a car, a bolt or any kind, you have to retorque it to spec. If you don't know what torque specs are, look it up. They're measured in pound-feet or Newton meters. This one goes all the way to 250 pound-feet. That's about all you would ever need. There are smaller versions of this, but this one is nice and strong and it's easy to torque bolts with. Other things that you're definitely going to need, PB Blaster. Okay, so this is a penetrating oil. This is one of the things you cannot live without, especially if you're working on an old BMW. Watch my differential swap if you want to see what happens when you get a stuck bolt. This makes a huge difference. Okay, this is a Haynes manual for a Saab 9.3. The reason I have it for a Saab is because I have an old Saab that I work on quite frequently, and the online support isn't quite as good for Saabs as for BMWs. Now for me, BMWs is a huge community and I use the internet for pretty much everything that I do. If I'm stuck, it's got everything you need. An oil drain pan, that makes everything a lot easier. When you're changing your oil, changing fluids, you kind of have to have one of those. All right, so that's like a basic kit to get you going. 100% guaranteed the first time you do a job, you're going to have to run out to the nearest store and buy something that you need. So you start stacking up your tools slowly. Budget some money for that. The way I see it is nowadays there's no excuse to not do your own car maintenance because the internet is such a valuable tool once you figure out how to use it. I hope you've done that by now. Now, everything you could ever need to know about your car is probably on the internet, unless you have some weird obscure car that not very many people drive. Even then, there's going to be a community for it somewhere and people who are willing to help you. So the first thing that I would do, though, is if you're just fully getting started out on your own car maintenance, you're probably not going to know what the parts of the car are called. This was the biggest obstacle for me, because when something started making noises, you have to figure out what to search so that you can find what other people have done to fix it. So get a diagram of your car, find a part breakdown, find something like that so that you can understand what all the different parts of your car are called. It makes a huge difference when you're trying to figure out what's broken. Almost guaranteed, whatever car it is that you drive, there's going to be an online